Hari Om Tat Sat Yogis. Welcome to Easy Like Sunday Morning, where it doesn't matter what time you're doing this, what matters is that you're taking it easy. So we're going to start in a reclining pose this morning, making sure that you've got your props, or today, whenever you're doing it. You can use blankets, pillows, whatever you need to here. The most important thing is that you're making kind of a ramp, so they're layered. If you have got a bolster at home, obviously use it, yay! And then come to sit on your bum. We're taking reclining bound angle, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. They can be as far away or as close to your body as you like. It's our first pose. We're aiming for not too much discomfort immediately. We're arriving first. So just soles of the feet together, and if that doesn't work for you when you get down, you can put the soles of the feet flat, no problem. Make sure that the lowest part of your ramp is right up into the lower back, and using your hands if you need to come down onto your ramp. The most important thing is that there is something supporting your head and your neck, and that whatever is doing that is enabling the chin to soften down into the chest so the back of the neck is broad. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands next to the body, palms facing up. If the lower back is feeling a little tweaky, then just tuck the tailbone, lift your bum up, and then lower your bottom back down to the ground. Allow the eyes to gently close. If you are a fan of an essential oil, this is a good time to use it. I'm using frankincense. Helps to balance the chakras. Whatever you're doing, begin to arrive, coming into the breath, coming into the body. Starting to make that journey down from inside your mind, climbing down into the body. Not necessarily changing anything just yet. Just noticing the inhale, noticing the exhale. And then bringing your awareness to your body, to your physical body. Feeling how your hips are feeling, your knees, your ankles. With every breath, just allowing the weight of the body to soften down onto your props, onto the ground. Beginning to lengthen and deepen the breath, coming into full yogic breath. If at any time the legs become too much for your hips, you're so welcome to just flatten the feet down to the ground or extend the legs out in front of you. Just drawing all your bits and pieces back towards your center, bringing your hands onto your belly button or onto your tummy for a moment. And then just really connecting with that sense of the belly rising as you inhale to meet the hands. And as you exhale and the belly drops down towards the spine. And I'm going to encourage you today to be tactile, to touch, to feel. So beginning to just slide, rub the hands along your belly, your hips, perhaps down into the thigh crease, perhaps down onto the thighs. And then just being aware of this feeling of both being inside your body and outside your body. So your hands, your skin, your sense of touch being the outside part of your body, and then your awareness, your presence being the inside of being in your body. And the relationship between the two today. So exploring our relationship between being internal and drawing inwards in order to be present in any given moment, and being aware of that on top of being physically present in the world, in the reality that we live in the physical realm. We often think the idea of meditation is to escape the physical realm. Meditation is not to escape anything, it's not to escape the physical realm. It is in fact to help you remain more present in the physical realm. So we're not trying to run away from anything. Our yoga practice, our meditation practice, our self-awareness practices, our spiritual practices, these are about enabling us to both be grounded in the physical world. So we're not nut jobs, we're not fruitcakes, we're not loopy-loos. It's not all too woo-woo. Taking 2 or 3 more breaths in this position. Perhaps you're still touching your body, that's lovely. Just taking 1 more glide across the thighs, the hips, and then bringing the hands back down to the ground, palms facing up. Being still for a moment, feeling the energy inside the palms of the hands, feeling the awareness that your skin has of having recently touched something. You. Taking 1 or 2 more breaths, and then very, very, very gently, very slowly, beginning to walk your right foot slightly further away from your left and flattening that right foot down to the ground. Take a moment. Notice as you do that how the left knee, the left leg, the left glute, the left ankle is allowed to drop a little deeper down to the ground. Feel that moment. And then begin to walk your right foot further out to the edge of your mat, off your mat even, and begin to drop the right knee in and take your gaze to the left. You can leave your arms exactly where they are, or you can begin to take them a little further out at shoulder height, feeling the chest and the heart open. And now breathing from the right knee, imagining that as you inhale, that you're taking in air through your right kneecap, expanding your right thigh, quadricep, leg, feeling that breath moving in through your femur, your bone, into the hip socket. Again, you can touch the body with your right hand if you are tactile, or if you want to explore and challenge yourself on physical touch. If this is weird for you, challenge yourself. Feeling that breath move past the hip and into the torso. Feeling that breath expanding into the lower lungs and the middle lungs especially, feeling your thoracic area, your ribs, your intercostal muscles, feeling them expand both outwards, upwards, and sideways. So you can just drop that right knee a little further. Softening into this. Remember that our yin practice is mainly guided by the idea of softening, letting go. It's a connective tissue practice, joints, ligaments, tendons, fascia. So we're not too concerned about letting the muscles hold anything. We want to rather embrace the idea of letting go. Keep envisioning that breath moving in through the kneecap. Last breath. Very, very, very gently beginning to lift that right knee and begin to walk that right foot back. Bring your head back up to center. Bring the right foot back to meet the left foot, dropping momentarily back into Supta Baddha Konasana. Very gently walking the left foot slightly further away. Flattening the left foot down to the ground. Don't rush it. Take that moment there where you feel that because you put the left sole down, the right knee, the right hip, the right buttock can soften, can drop a little deeper down to the ground. Feel that moment. Then begin to walk your left foot a little further out, off of the mat, taking your gaze to the right now. Noticing how one side is different to the other side. My left knee does not want to drop down nearly as low as my right knee did. So I'm not going to force it, I'm not going to push it. I'm just going to soften it. Again, maybe you want to bring your hand onto your body and feel encourage, love. Remembering that we come to all our yoga practices, no matter what style of yoga you're undertaking, there is a tenet built into it, a foundation that is about non-judgment, and that includes yourself. There's nothing wrong about what you are doing. There's nothing wrong about you. You are enough exactly as you are. Bringing your awareness, I've taken my face to the wrong direction. Silly me. Take your face over to the left. If you followed me blindly, take your face over to the left. And then begin to take that breath in through the left kneecap. Imagine it moving in through the shin, into that femur, into the kneecap. Again, allowing the middle lungs especially to expand outwards, upwards, sideways. Your last 2 or 3 breaths here. Remember, if anything is too much meaning painful, you come out. So in yin, our practice can be challenging in its intensity, but never painful. So if something is short, sharp, stabbing, draw out. Gently begin to lift that left knee up and walk your left foot back towards the right. Not going all the way back into Supta Baddha Konasana. Leave the left foot down on the ground and then join the right foot in. Draw your heels a little bit closer to your bum. Lift your tailbone as if you were rolling all the way up into a bridge. You're not going to go all the way up into a bridge, but just lifting the lower back and the tailbone. Feel the quadriceps having a little stretch there, and then lower your bum back down. Let the pelvis roll forward, away from your belly button. Take a good deep breath in, exhale side out through the mouth. And then using your forearms and your elbows, turn your palms flat to the ground, soften the chin into the chest and roll yourself up to seated. Extending your legs out in front of you as you do that, coming to caterpillar. Let your knees bend, let your feet flop out or in, wherever the natural inclination is for you there. And remembering that you're so welcome to use your props. So if caterpillar is really hideous for you, you might want to put a blanket or a pillow below your knees. This is going to be our first really long hold. We're going to hold this caterpillar for 5 minutes. If that's too much, you pull out when you need to, no problem. And you are always obviously welcome to put props between your torso and your legs, whatever you need there. And inhale, lengthen, exhale, folding forward. I like to start with my elbows just above my knees when I'm working into caterpillar. Soften the chin down towards the chest. You're really just letting the back round, letting the shoulders be very soft. Allowing the eyes to gently close and just sticking with that breath. So we're going to do 5 minutes, and at the end of every minute I will give you the option to go deeper or pull back, whatever you need. Inhale, exhale, that's a minute. Perhaps you can go a little deeper. Sometimes I like to shift the flesh from below my sit bones so that I'm grounded down with my sit bones. A sigh, a moan, a groan always helps you get a little deeper into your forward folds. You don't have to wait for me for that minute signal. If your body is naturally dropping in a little deeper, follow your body, follow your breath. That's the second minute, so you can move into a deeper space or pull back if you started out too intense. We can sometimes in our enthusiasm and yin go a little too intense, a little too soon, and then maybe need to pull out a little bit if it's a long hold. It's totally fine. Last couple of breaths in this minute. Inhale, exhale. Is there a deeper place? You can put your hands wherever is comfortable. You can have them on the outside of your legs. You can have them on the inside of your legs. You can have them on your feet. Sometimes I like to give myself a little reflexology, little massage with my thumbs to the insides, to my instep or the soles of my feet. Sometimes I like to stretch the tops of my feet and my toes. Just draw the toes again in towards the sole of the foot, stretching onto the top of the foot. However, not distracting myself too much with movement in a long hold pose. And we're into this last minute. If you have a block or a pile of books, what you can also do is put it below your forehead. It's a nice way to support the neck. If you become a little tired in a long hold forward fold. Last couple of breaths here. Inhale, and exhale. And then coming out ever so gently. Walk yourself out nice and slow. Take the hands out behind you. If you have something below your knees, just draw it out. Straighten the legs, give them a little flex, a little point. Rotate into the ankles, get blood flow. And from here, just draw your feet in, come to an easy pose, an easy cross-legged position. Take a little bit of movement into the side body and the neck. Just drop the chin in towards the chest, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Just holding it there for a moment or two. You can shift the chin slightly across the chest, just checking in. Inhale, exhale on the next breath, inhaling the head up. And then taking your left hand out to the side, just dropping your left ear into your left shoulder. Nothing fancy here. Just taking that hand a little further out to wherever it feels good for you. Draw the bottom shoulder forward, top shoulder back. That is it. Inhale, exhale. Bring your full awareness to where you can feel the intensity of this. For me, it's really in this space just above my collarbone into my neck. So there is intensity there. Draw the belly button to the spine. Just let that ear drop in towards the shoulder and then soften the belly. Bend your elbow a little bit, left elbow. Just resting that right hand on the right knee or on the right thigh. And inhale to center, super slow. Drop the chin back down to the chest. Soften shoulders away from ears. Just letting the head hang heavy there. But the spine is still fairly erect, so I don't want you to round into the back too much. The focus is on the neck here, so it's just about dropping the chin into the chest, softening the shoulders away from the ears. You can let the belly be soft, but don't round excessively into the back. Breathe. Last breath. Inhale the head back up to center. Coming to the other side, just taking your right hand slightly out to the side, just far enough to bend the elbow. Drop the ear to the shoulder. Rest your left hand on your left knee or on your thigh. And we're just letting that shoulder drop in, ear at least drop into the shoulder. And then for me, the intensity here is in a slightly different place. It's actually on the back of my shoulder, just below, kind of behind my shoulder blade. So it's in a completely different place on this side. I'm also feeling quite a lot of intensity into my lower back and my hip on this side, just by dropping the ear into the shoulder. Draw the belly to the spine for a moment, then soften it. Inhale, exhale, and last breath. Inhale up to center. Hold a moment, and then again for the last time, dropping the chin in towards the chest. Sit up a little taller if you can, soften the shoulders away from the ears, maybe even bringing them up for a little squeeze. Soften them away, chin to the chest. Oh, and I can feel how my stress neck has shifted slightly. So the intensity that I came with into the first dropping of the chin to the chest, that's shifted a little bit. It's not gone, but it has shifted a little bit. Inhale, exhale. From here, just walk your hands forward. Now you can let the back round, and wherever you get to here is where you get to. So if you're very flexible in the hips, and you can come all the way down with your forehead to the floor, you go there. Come as you are, wherever you land. Exhale into that, and we're going to be here for 2 minutes. You're obviously, again, always welcome to use your pile of books or your blankets or your pillows underneath your forehead. Super nice way to use a prop here. Actually, I'm going to take it myself. Noticing what's happening in the hips. Maybe you can lower your proper setting if you're using one. Whew. Breathe. And maybe you can remove your props for these last 30 or so seconds. Or just take it down a setting, wherever you are is good. last breath. Stretch your hands out a little further forward. And then roll over your shins, your big toes, come to open-kneed extended child. Push your bum down towards your heels, walk your hands back slightly, temple the fingers, come onto the fingertips. And you're going to take a nice lion's breath here. So your tailbone is untucked, your sit bones are resting on your heels. Inhale, exhale. Really sticking the tongue out, taking 2 more like that. Inhale. And this time, as you exhale, round into the back, lift your bottom away from your heels, round into the back like your cat, fingertips just resting on the floor, and then exhale it out. So inhale, exhale. One more, inhale, feeling that pelvis tilting, exhale. And then walking your hands further forward, bring your knees below your hips and coming to some cat and cow. Oh yeah, inhaling up, exhaling down. If you need to put a blanket under your knees, if your knees are sensitive, please put a blanket under your knees or a pillow even. And last one, take your hands a little bit wider, tuck your toes, push back, downward facing dog. It's the first dog, so take a few pedals, take the movement that you need. And then coming into a still place. Coming back to the breath, make sure the chin is tucked into the chest, crown of the head towards the ground, back of the neck is long and broad and free. If you need to come down, you come down into a child's pose. Last breath. Well done. Look towards hands and just sliding your right knee forward for a pigeon. If you need to use pillows, blankets, props, whatever you need underneath your right bum, your right hip, you can put something there. Take a moment in the back bend. And then try to make sure that all 5 toes of the back foot are on the ground. And then folding forward. Remember, you can use props below you as well. You can fold forward over pillows. You can bring the pillows quite close underneath your torso. You can take them quite far away. Whatever you've got, blankets. You can put your forearms on your props. Just figuring out what feels good for you there. Regular advanced practitioners, you can come into whatever variation of this feels good for you. What I quite like to do is to then take my arms and wrap. So in this instance, my right arm around my right knee, taking my fingers towards the back of my mat, and taking my arms out of the equation completely. And then it's fine to kind of drop down a little bit onto your left side, onto your left hip. If you need your hands to hold you up, then you just keep your hands out in front of you, below your shoulders, on the floor. Stay with the breath. Bringing your awareness to your left toes, left ankle, left knee, left hip, left shoulder. Take a good deep breath in, and as you exhale, sigh it out through the mouth and just see if there is any more depth that you can get to. We're here for another minute. Just checking in with where the mind has wandered off to, bring it back. If your arms are facing the back of your mat, gently begin to draw them out. Righting yourself. Bring the hands below the shoulders. Inhale, lift yourself up. Take the props out from below your right bum and then sit down on that right bum. Swing your left leg around and bring it straight into cow face. Your left leg is on top of your right leg. What you want to do here is stack your knees as much as possible. If this is not happening for you at all and it's hideous, then you can bring your bottom leg out. So your right leg can be extended and then try to work your left knee on top of your right knee. So that's option one, that's perfectly reasonable. Otherwise, trying to make sure that the feet stay in line with each other. They can go quite forward or quite far back as long as they stay in line with each other, and grounding down into that left hip. So if the left hip is popping away from the ground, then just draw that left hip back down and we're settled. Inhale, lengthen. If this is murderous for you and all you need all your focus and concentration to just stay here, then you stay here and breathe into the hips, or you can begin to walk your hands forward, and we're into it. We're going to be in this for a little while. Soften the chin in towards the chest, let the back round. You maybe want to check in with the neck and just slide the chin across the chest once or twice. But take note of the need to fidget because of discomfort. I'm guilty. Just come back to the breath. We've been in for almost a minute. Is there a further depth that you can go to? Sighing it out is often helpful. We're deliberately creating quite a lot of tension inside the body with a yin practice. So when we sigh it out through the mouth, we're helping to release some of that tension. And then if you wanted to explore a little more, come out of the forward fold. If you're like, oh wow, this is too much, then you stay either with your hands on your feet or in your forward fold. If you're going deeper and you want to come to a little bit of a twist, then bring your right hand out to your right hand side. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold over to the right. Just bowing the head down to the ground. Elbows are bent. And coming to the other side, take your hands over to your left. This will be a little bit more challenging, maybe. You can kind of put your right hand on the sole of your right foot, twist a little deeper. We're into the last minute. Try to relax something. Soften the knees, soften the hips. Maybe you can go a little deeper into this twist for these last 10 seconds. And last couple of breaths. Inhale. As you exhale, walk your hands back to center if you're in the twist. Inhale as you exhale, side out through the mouth. And gently make your way out. Now, from here, you're just going to let your left leg lean back onto your hands, pull your left leg out from where it is, come into Sukhasana easy pose. Your left leg, so if you're right-handed, your right leg would have been in front the first time that we did this. So whichever is your dominant leg would have been the one in front. So make sure that you've swapped legs for this. So we've been here before in Sukhasana and easy pose. We are swapping legs. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, forward fold. Maybe you can get a little bit further down. Maybe you still need to use your prop below your forehead, whatever that was. Woo. Inhale, exhale. We're only in here for a minute. Maybe you can take a prop away. And last 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, begin to walk your hands back, exhale. Inhale, as you exhale, rolling over the ankles, over the shins, big toes to touch. Inhale, exhale, lion's breath. Inhale, you can tuck your toes, come onto your fingertips. Exhale, lift your bum away from your heels. Inhale, feel that tucking and untucking of the tailbone, the rolling of the pelvis. Come to your all fours, and then you can either stick with cat and cow, which is really tasty, I must confess, or you can look over your right shoulder, drawing your right shoulder and your right hip towards each other, alternating sides. Oh. Okay, this is quite nice as well. Going both ways. Maybe you want to do both a few times. I don't mind. Give it a go. And then taking your hands a little further apart, coming back into center. Tuck the toes. Push up. Downward facing dog. Take the movement. Take some pedals if you need it. Again, feeling this feeling, exploring this idea of being inside your body, your physical body, but feeling how your hands and your feet are touching the ground right now. So this is yoga. Yoga is union of the external and the internal. Yoga is the end of duality. We are both. And that doesn't mean that we are dual in that we're inside and outside. It means that we are fully present in both. I can be fully present inside my body and be fully aware of the fact that I'm in the physical world. And that my real challenge in life is responding to the physical world, responding to the external world and the people in it. By remaining present inside my body, not allowing my mind to tell me too many stories and make assumptions. That if I can learn to ground myself into my body, be embodied, be in the present moment, then I can react, I can respond, which is a better word, appropriately to the external world. If you've come down already, you needed a rest, no problem. Otherwise, look towards hands, sliding your left knee into your pigeon. Again, using whatever props you need to below your left bum, below your left hip. Inhale, find the back bend for a moment. Make sure all 5 toes of your right foot are on the floor. And then exhale, folding forward. Taking your time to settle into this. Maybe you want to do what you did on the other side if there's capacity for it. Remember, the sides aren't equal, particularly in a pigeon. Maybe you want to take your feet, your hands at least, towards your feet. Hugging the left knee with the left shoulder. And then dropping your weight slightly onto the right-hand side. If this is not accessible, you just keep your hands out in front of you wherever feels helpful. Sometimes we need our hands in our pigeon to help us. Sigh, moan, groan, let the weight of the body just sink down to the ground. With your next breath, begin to touch your thumb to your fingertips, whatever position your arms are in. If you're using your hands to hold yourself up, then just walk back so that you're on your elbows, and then touch your thumbs to your fingertips 3 times, moving all through the fingers 3 times. And last breath, bring your hands below your shoulders, gently draw yourself up, take your prop out from beneath your left bum, sit down on that left bum and draw your right leg around to come into your cow face on the other side. So remember, I adjust my legs to mirror you. So it's your right leg is on top now. Remember, if this is not accessible, and you may have been able to do it on the other side, but on this side it's like, then you keep that bottom leg out, trying to stack the knees as much as possible. Remember to be in as much discomfort as possible. Cow face. Feet in line with each other, ground down into that right hip. Don't let it pop up too much. Inhale. And exhale. Maybe you're just dropping the chin in towards the chest and letting the back round slightly. Maybe you're walking a little further forward. Maybe you can get your chin over your knee. Breathe. Soften the shoulders. Bring your awareness to your right ankle, your right knee, your right hip, your right shoulder. And then if this is manageable for you and you want to go into the twist like we did on the other side, then you'll walk your hands back. And you'll come on over to the left-hand side first, walking your hands around. Take a little halfway lift and then exhale, pressing into the hands, just sort of bowing down, soften the chin in towards the chest. Last couple of breaths here. Either deepening if you can, deepen if you're in the forward fold, or coming over to the other side, to the right hand side. This side will feel a little more challenging. Taking your left hand onto your left foot maybe. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, bowing down, pressing into your right hand. Soften the chin to the chest. Trying to get that elbow across the thigh. Ooh, I felt a little click there. Delightful. And last couple of breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Gently, very gently. Either going back to the front or coming out of the forward bend and gently walking your hands back. From here, lean back onto your hands. Draw your top leg out and put it on top of your other leg. So your right leg on top of your left leg. Inhale, exhale. From here, just flip over onto all fours. Doesn't matter which direction you're facing, it's all good. And then coming into your cat and your cow. And then either choosing, taking a few moments here, choosing either a melting heart or a downward facing dog. So I'll show them both to you in case you're not sure what a melting heart is. Melting heart, tailbone tilted up, forearms down to the ground, resting your cheek, your chin or your forehead, but I recommend your forehead in a long hold. Melting heart, belly is soft, or your downward facing dog. And making your choice, and we're in, and I'm not gonna time this. You're gonna hold either of these poses for as long as you can manage. When you've had enough of your melting heart or your downward facing dog, we will all meet in child's pose. So we're gonna aim to hold this for 3 minutes, but I'm not keeping that exactly. So if you've had enough, you come out, we meet in child's pose. Everybody meeting in child's pose. If you're up in that dog, well done. Come down. Bring your knees together. Remember, you can use a pillow here. You can pop a pillow between your calves and your buttocks if child's pose is really uncomfortable for you. And you can also use a prop below your forehead if child's pose is really uncomfortable for you. Whew, I'm going to stick with these props. This feels so good. Take a couple of really proper breaths. Sighs. Allow the weight of the body to drop into the ground. Maybe you can remove the prop below your forehead. Just let the shoulders droop down next to the ears. Sometimes I can feel a level of softness in my child's pose where I can actually turn my cheek to one side. If that's you, you want to try just turning the cheek to one side. We will go both ways. Let those elbows relax completely. If you're holding a child's pose and your elbows are not, your arms are straight, and your elbows are not touching the floor, then you're quite tense. You need to actually bend the elbows and then let the arms relax completely down to the ground. Swap sides if you've got your face turned to one side. And maybe things are softening to the degree where you can remove the prop if you had a prop anywhere else. Last breath. Your hands below your shoulders. Push yourself up. Take a short little twist here. Take your left hand to the bottom of your back. Inhale your right arm up. And exhale, twisting, placing your hand on the outside of your thigh or knee, wherever you can reach. Again, connecting with that sense of touch. And there being an outside of your body. As you exhale, close the eyes and come inside of your body. Elbows are bent, both elbows are a little bit bent. Inhale, as you exhale, slide the chin across the chest, come back to center, putting both hands onto the thighs for a moment, again connecting with that sense of feeling with the hands, feeling with the palms of your hands, feeling with your fingers. And then coming to the other side, placing the right hand, the bottom of your back. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, over, running the hand along the thigh or along the knee. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist, looking over that back shoulder. And slide the chin across the chest, come back to center. Come to all fours only insofar as to be able to kind of turn yourself around. And then making sure that you have a pillow or a blanket to put a rolled up blanket, a sausage blanket below your knees. Let the feet just flop out to the side. If you need to have your knees bent going down onto your back to protect your lower back, you can do that. Maybe even shifting your bum forward. Come to lie on your back, remembering I like to have a lot of luxury in my yin. Maybe putting a pillow below your head. Reaching for blankets, eye pillows and such. If there is a last thing that you would like to do, I know even in yin, we like to close off with a knees to chest or a happy baby or a twist of some kind. Please take that. If you need to take a moment to do that, go ahead and do that. We haven't been too hectically in the lower back, so everything should be fine over there. But if it isn't, take a little twist, take a little happy baby. Get your blankets. If you're watching this on the weekend that it was filmed, it's a cold weekend. So, blankets, eye pillows. Come into the breath. Come to the body. Bring your hands onto your belly. Let the elbows bend. The backs of your arms and your elbows are resting on the ground. Soften the chin to the chest. Take a long, slow inhale and an even longer, slower exhale. And then we're going to practice the extension of the breath here. So for the next 3 to 5 rounds, you're going to count the duration of your inhale. And if your inhale is 5 counts, then your exhale is 7 counts. If your inhale is 4 counts, then your exhale is 6 counts. I'm going to take us through the first one. Just taking a normal breath, and then you'll carry on your own. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, and carrying on your own. Letting go of the controlled breath, letting go of the count. Just allowing the body to settle into some rest. Noticing the external parts of the body again that are in contact with the ground, the things that you can feel. The backs of your knees on your prop, your heels resting on the ground, the elbows resting on the ground. Your buttocks resting on the ground, the back of your head either on the ground or on your pillow. Being aware, taking note of these externals, and then with your next breath, bringing your awareness to that space just behind the eyes, that blackness, that movie screen inside your mind. Just noticing what you see there, if there are images, words, pictures. Not trying to control them or shut them down. Just seeing them, just becoming aware of anything that's playing on that movie screen inside your mind. And then with awareness, beginning to clean the slate, as it were. Every time an image starts to take shape, or an idea or a thought starts to emerge, seeing that image, seeing that thought, seeing that feeling, acknowledging it, and then wiping that slate behind the eyes clean, and again looking at it afresh, empty. Continuing with that process by yourself. Noticing and then clearing. Noticing and clearing. Letting go of all control, any attempt to organize anything, and rest. I'm going to leave you here in Shavasana. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoy our YouTube clips, please like and share. Invite your friends. But for now, rest.